All right, let's talk about the man of the hour, the one, the only, Ben Johnson. Oh, man. The reactions from Ben Johnson's hiring have been glorious. Bears fans, we're here again. We did it again. Hey, this is the one. This is the guy who's going to save us. He's going to develop Caleb Williams. This is the one. Lions fans, you Judas. 2 days earlier, we were in a playoff game. We lost, where you're having Jameson Williams throw an interception. Literally, you're scheming him up when you're down 10. And now he's going to be in the division playing the Lions twice. And it's this weird, like, oh, Ben Johnson has done so much for us, but he just went to the enemy. Welcome to being a Packers fan. When the Bears and the Vikings steal all our players and we're like, oh, we're going to get at them now. This is what it feels like. It sucks, right? It's not fun. They steal your coaches. They steal your coordinators. I got to watch Aaron Jones on a 14-win team sweep the freaking Packers this year. Welcome. Welcome. We had our Hall of Fame quarterback go to the Minnesota Vikings and go to the NFC Championship game. Now he's a former Vikings quarterback, and I don't think he ever played for the Packers. But oh boy, a lot of fandom is interesting times right now. What are your thoughts, one Brandon Perna?
I think it's the right move for the Bears, and I think Bears fans actually deserve to feel optimistic.
Yes,
and I think the tragedy is they gave themselves so much hope with the Caleb Williams draft pick that Bears fans are scared to be hopeful about the Ben Johnson hiring, which is probably the safer place to be. You never know. But I think if everything we believe about Ben Johnson is true, then this is a good move. I think for Caleb Williams and his future in the NFL, he's got a good chance to succeed with Ben Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
If Caleb Williams does not play well with Ben Johnson, then you have a different problem. You have and I think Caleb can. I think Caleb's going to look like one of the more improved quarterbacks next season. I don't know if next year is going to be the year it all comes together for Bears fans.
Yeah.
I think they should go into it the way Broncos fans did this season, where we were like, you know what? We just got to feel like Bo Nix is our guy.
Sure.
We think we have the head coach in Sean Payton. And the first season with Sean Payton wasn't really good. There were some, a few nice things. But I also like what Ben Johnson did and said right when he got to the Bears facility. He talked about, like, that's the place he and his wife wanted to be, where they have a family, they have their kids, like they wanted to go to Chicago. And and maybe they really wanted to go to Chicago when they offered him $13 million a year or whatever. But
they're paying him a good amount of money.
I think if that's the spot he wanted to go to, then that's usually a recipe for success. And I know you're smirking because it's the Bears, and none of us believe that they can actually uncurse themselves.
See, I don't agree with that. But continue.
Okay. And I think there's been a couple examples of quick turnarounds recently. Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers.
Sure.
They were not in the playoff race last year. They got to the playoffs. Did it work out once they got there? No, but he made a big difference.
He did.
With the Chargers.
And he had no coaching experience either.
Sean Payton took 2 years. We're in a much better spot.
No head coaching experience either for Sean Payton. Yeah,
I think Ben has experience.
As a coordinator, absolutely a great offensive coordinator. Yeah. You know who was a really good offensive coordinator? Nathaniel Hackett. He was really good.
See, we thought, but I think there's evidence that Ben is a very good offensive coordinator.
Oh, I think he's a great offensive coordinator. Mm-hmm.
He's a very good offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Chunky, get ready. Start saving your money. Start saving, Chunky Ragu.
I think here's the thing. I think for the Bears, I got to give their ownership credit here. They went out and got the guy that everybody was talking about, right? Truly, are they screwed? No. Are they going to have to adjust? Yes. losing only 1-0. In terms of how successful they're going to be, that is now going to be dependent on Ben Johnson. However, the fact that they're going to potentially bring in Dennis Allen, I love that selection. He has head coaching experience. Yes, didn't really go over well as a head coach, but he is a damn good defensive coordinator, has that experience. If he assembles a roster of experienced folks, that is going to help significantly, because no joking, no trolling at all, we don't know how Ben Johnson is as a head coach. We just don't know, right? So yes, I am poking fun of we don't know, and that could be bad for the Bears, but not knowing that, we were talking about Mike McCarthy, right? We were all laughing at that, but you know what you're getting in a head coach. He has that experience, and he's not an awful head coach.
No.
Right? He's probably
one of the most unfairly criticized head coaches in the league, Mike McCarthy.
And again, his tenure, with the Packers, definitely overstayed its welcome, right? And they became less and less effective. Then with the Cowboys, hey, listen, they did well until they got to the playoffs, and then it didn't really work out so well. So I think you are limited. There's a ceiling there, but he can get guys to play for him. He's still a good head coach. So with Ben Johnson, it's like when you're drafting, right? You're not drafting guys for necessarily what they did in college. It's that potential of what you think they can be. Yeah. And them going out and signing Ben Johnson is hey, ownership, we're doing everything we possibly can to make this team good. So I got to give them some credit here. And I'm usually very critical about the McCaskies. They deserve some credit here because they went out, they spent big money to go get the top free agent in terms of head coaching candidates. And now it's a matter of, let's see if this thing is going to work.
Yeah, I think the thing that will hold Ben Johnson back is Ryan Poles. Oh. We don't know, who. Jury's out on Poles, and he's done some good things in Chicago, and there's been other issues. I think it's about identifying.
We are alive.
Draft talent. Getting the right offensive line in front of Caleb Williams, teaching Caleb Williams how to mitigate sacks, that sort of stuff. And I think it'll come along. But if Johnson and Poles develop a harmonious relationship, and Johnson can take some of the things he learned from how the Lions built their team and find a scout or two that he liked over there, those are the types of pieces that we don't talk about that I think
make a huge difference.
Really make difference in how you build your team. But again, I think more than most teams, a lot of people will bet against it because it's the Bears. But it feels like they did the right thing. And I think they did. We have criticized them for drafting their quarterback and then firing the coach, drafting a quarterback, then firing the coach. And that's a problem unless the second coach you hire is the right guy. And if Ben Johnson is not the right guy for the Bears, they will never figure out success.
Legitimately,
right guy for this job, coach that has ever fallen into their lap.
Yeah.
So if this doesn't work out, they're cursed. There's no explaining it. You are cursed. Not only should you sell the team, you should move to a different city, Albuquerque. The Albuquerque rattlesnakes, whatever you want to be, get the fuck out of Chicago because you're not going to be able to save yourselves.
I agree with you. Then that was the last line I had in the reaction video, because Bears fans, they've had this promise. Justin Fields was because Trubisky, when they trade up for Trubisky, there's this kind of okay, there wasn't this 100%. Oh, this is going to work out. This is going to be great. And guess what? It didn't. Yes, they go to the wild card round, then it's a double doink, and then they don't get back there. Matt Nagy's coach of the year. But then they go and trade up for Fields. And that was oh man, he is the Messiah. He is going to come and save our franchise. And then they went through it and it didn't really happen. But then they had that 1 year where oh, okay, no, actually this works out. We're going to trade with the Panthers. Justin Fields is our guy. It did not work out. Yeah. So they keep on getting their hope up and hope up and hope up. And then it was this year of okay, we got Caleb Williams, but we don't know about Eberflus. The defense got a little bit better. Sure. Then he gets fired. So I agree with you, because at some point, there's only so many times that you can dangle the carrot and go, no, this is the time where it's going to work out. And that's why I'm actually giving credit to the McCaskies here, because they went out and spent the money. on the guy that almost everyone agreed was the top head coaching candidate. So now it's just about, is Ben Johnson that guy?
Yeah.
Can he do that in Chicago? And yes, Ryan Poles, you don't know. We're going to see if he's going to wind up being a lame duck GM, and they wind up firing a GM again. But the other thing that I want to talk about, yes, Lions fans being angry, is this talk about, hey, maybe we shouldn't let coaches interview during the playoffs, right? Cliff Kingsbury, he's like rejected some interviews until after the postseason. Meanwhile, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, they're out there taking interviews, and one of those teams lost and one of the others didn't on Saturday. I really am not leaning into that pretty hard, because I don't think that's making a huge difference. Because let's put it this way, if Ben Johnson and or Aaron Glenn won a Super Bowl this year, oh buddy, that price of their contract is going up and up and up. Right. So even if we're just doing it for selfish reasons, I'm not going to really take too much stock in that. But as a Lions fan, I could understand why people would be upset, because they're like, man, that sucks, especially when the coach that you lost against, right, is not taking other interview jobs and yours did. And unfortunately, Lions fans, like, this is what comes with the price of winning, right? Like, now they're going to start poaching coordinators. They're going to start poaching, different coaches, like offensive line coaches. And that, unfortunately, like, is just the reality. Hell, Jeff Hafley was the Packers defensive coordinator 1 year. 1 year. He just got pulled up from college. 1 year. He got pulled up from the Packers. And now the Jets were interviewing him as a head coaching candidate. Jeff Hafley's going to stay. Thank God. But yeah, man, like, once you start being a damn good squad, other teams are going to come run.